Anyway, it's a really cool plaque. It's a wooden plaque, open source icon, all things open. It has last year's date, so we're a year behind. And then on the back, I do want to say, honoring your dedication and work to support the open source community, we thank you, presented to Jim Jagielski. And our entire team signed that.
Oh, that is fantastic.
That's pretty cool. So Jim's going to say a few words. Jim, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Mike?
Oh.
And if you, I can hold this over here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Todd. Really, it really is an honor, and I am so very, very proud to accept the award. From the very, very start, how many people remember even before All Things Open, there was this little event called Great Wide Open? Anybody remember that? POSSCON, that's going back kind of far, okay? These were all done by Todd and his team. And what amazed me back then is I was struck by just how intuitively, how instinctively they understood the concept of community and how integral that is to open source. They grokked it in a way that other people really, really didn't. And so it was just easy and natural to do whatever I could to help promote and support All Things Open. And so I would love to share this award with everyone because so many people were instrumental in this. Every sponsor, every partner, every speaker, every attendee, every volunteer, everyone here owns a part of that award. And the hope and the goal is that everyone can share in that, and I hope you do, and I do share it with you. I've been given a few other minutes to speak, and so if we could have the picture slide up. How many people are somewhat familiar with this? It's a pretty famous drawing / painting from Alec Ross, absolutely incredible comic book artist. And you may be looking at it and wondering, what the heck does this have to do with open source? Well, let's remember 20, 30 years ago, open source was the underdog. It was less than an underdog. And for open source to succeed, people needed to fight for it. And I use that term not lightly. It was a battle. It was a battle between David and Goliath. And we won because people had the fortitude to continue fighting for it, for doing something that, in the end, even the people who were against open source realized that we were right, and they accepted it and embraced it, and we have evidence of that all over the place. Of course, because of those battles, you might understand why some of us with Gray and have been there for a while may be somewhat cranky and overprotective of open source. But my message really is it's not time to become complacent, especially now with the graying of open source. Because those who enjoy the fruits of labor may not always understand what went into creating those fruits, may not think that the battles are still around, but they are. And there are places where open source really is in some danger. There's still a lot of work to do, and in various areas, open source still is somewhat under attack. Open source needs fighters. We need protectors. There are more than enough people who are willing to acquiesce and compromise, and those things are good. But we also need people who are ready to hold firm, draw the line someplace, and keep the battle going. So I encourage everyone to fight for true open source AI in letter and spirit. Fight for true community-led open source protocols and projects and communities. Fight back when the very meaning of open source is abused and confused, especially by companies and entities that should know better. Fight back when companies, organizations, and sometimes even foundations may consider community and pro bono contributors less than second-class citizens. Fight back when companies perform rug pulls, all under the guise of open source. The old ideal of embrace, extend, and extinguish, although the players have drastically changed, it still exists in some pockets. It's somewhat more insidious, maybe still around, but more subtly. So my effort to you, my request to you is be like Bruce Wayne. Earn your scars. There are plenty of opportunities. Be the open source leaders that we need. Be the open source leaders that we deserve. And take your place as the next generation of these open source leaders. Thank you.